Tuesday, January 19th, 2021, 8:58 p.m. How you doing, Joseph Brown and Boss 99? Hey!
Hello.
It's episode 4. We have Bablu?
Yeah.
Bablu. Chowdhury. Bablu Chowdhury, who I worked with for 2 years, right?
Yeah, slacker left.
I know.
He was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out. This is enough nonsense for me.
Yeah, so this is episode 4, so thanks y'all for being here so early. Hey, Renee. Renee was just here. This is my cousin Renee. And
hello, Renee.
Line Piece Lex is here, so Lex is my co-host. So you are our first guest without Lex.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel very special.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look back 1,000 episodes in, be like I was there first.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks, y'all. So we're recording this live on Twitch. So for those of you that are here already, thanks for being here. You're welcome to join the show and chat. Help guide us. Help give us some questions. I don't think we'll need them, though. I think we got plenty of topics. If we run out of topics, we've got a whiteboard behind us that's full of stuff to talk about. We're just going to see where the night goes. But we can also catch this tomorrow on YouTube. So for those of you... Did you tell anybody you were going to be on tonight?
Told the wife.
Did you tell anybody at work?
No.
Yeah, because nobody knows what Twitch is.
It's too complicated for them.
Too complicated.
Yeah.
But will you tell them if it's on YouTube?
I will share the link. I mean, I think the most important thing you need is make it audio.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get... Because most of the time when I listen to podcasts and things of that sort, it's usually when I'm running or I'm in the car. And so this needs to get into audio mode for, I was trying to do some research, but...
So do you have a way... Oh, first of all, what are we drinking?
We're drinking...
You want to show this off?
This tequila mezcal. A friend of mine brought it over to the house, and it was so good that I thought I'd bring it over to Brad's place. So it wasn't late. I actually was bringing tequila.
It's great. It's really good. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Hey, let's do it up here. So I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had to get this tequila shot in. What were you saying?
Yeah, you're supposed to sip on it.
Yeah. YouTube. Do you know a way to get it out of the video format and into audio? Do you have a good solution for that?
So, from YouTube, yes. There's a bunch of tools. It's obviously like a bunch of these tools that are used to strip like music and like somebody that wants to convert us.
Right.
So you can do it that way. This tool of yours doesn't allow you to do that. Just split the audio.
It might.
Yeah.
It might.
Nah.
Hey, Super Sand, how you doing? Hey, Lillian. I don't know. So that's what we're gonna try and figure out next week. So next week, Aaron's coming over. We're going to the Twitch house. We're going over there Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He's bringing Hertz donuts. I'm bringing tacos. I don't know what time we're gonna meet. We're just gonna sit down. I'm gonna bring a whiteboard and a computer. He's gonna bring his computer. We're just gonna code up for a weekend. If you want to join us, come over.
Yeah, I'm all like if you guys want to set up a Twitch feed or something.
Yeah.
Now that I have a kid on the way, I might not be able to spend like all that time that I would be able to do years ago.
So, you kid on the way, do you know what it's going to be, boy or girl?
Oh, it's a girl.
Do you have a name?
We do, but everyone has told us to wait until we have the kid and see if the name fits. Otherwise, you're like, oh my god, we got it wrong, and we have all these engraved gifts that we got. Now we're stuck to it.
Yeah. So, what, can you give us a hint on the name? Is it like,
It's not religious, or it's not... I wouldn't say it's ethnic. I wouldn't say like it's from culture. It's something we liked, and it's simple. I hate, long syllables.
Yep.
Like my last name, which has all the letters of the alphabet.
I never know how to say your last name.
Chowdhury.
Chowdhury.
Yeah, more than 2 is just too much, right?
Do you have a hard first name? What was that like growing up?
So, I think I got made fun of a lot and things like that, but I thought it was great in like college because it was always a built-in like icebreaker. You go up to a girl at a club, you're like, hey, what's your name? My name's Bablu. I got like I Love Lucy, Jungle Book, and it was always a smooth conversation from that point onward. So I loved it. I didn't like it when I was in. I didn't love it when I was in middle school, but I loved it in like.
When did you start having that kind of confidence in it? When it's like having the confidence to go up and just talk to girls like that?
I think when you've kind of been.
Here, you come this way.
Yeah, let's do that. I think when you're not part of. When you're younger and you look different than everybody else.
Yeah.
You want to be, you want to fit in and things of that sort. And you're always like, man, I need to work harder. I need to, I need to be whiter in some way. And so at some point later on, the thing that made me unique was the thing that was people were looking out for in college. So that really helped.
Yeah.
I think gym really helped and things of that sort.
What'd you play?
So I played a lot of tennis, and so went to regionals and did all that nonsense. And then I was gonna play for UTA, but I had
UTA is University of Texas, where?
Arlington.
Arlington.
Yeah, and so when I was gonna be on that team, but at that point I was so tired of sports. Like that engrosses your entire life.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing, it was like 8 hours of like play, and then Saturday, and I was like, you know what? I actually want to enjoy like college and having a great time. So I decided not to do that. Hit up the gym instead. Yeah. So when I was, I was really skinny because of tennis, and then I think that being a little bit bigger really helped confidence.
So gaining weight helped you with the ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this was in so what did you go to college for?
So I went to college when like the market crashed. The tech bubble had just crashed. So my parents were like going to medicine, but I had no interest in medicine. I liked the science behind it, but I did not enjoy any of the the people part of it. So I was like, okay, I'll go to dentist that has good, a good paycheck. It's always in demand. It pays well. So became a certified dental assistant.
A dental assistant?
Yeah, and I'm still certified in the state of Texas.
Yeah?
Did that for 2 years, and I was like, I can't do this.
What didn't you like about it?
People.
The people?
So you can have literally the best day when you start off your day.
Yeah.
Somebody could just say something at 8 a.m. and that ruins your entire day, and you've done nothing. So the fact that somebody else has a control over your happiness was really, really, I don't know. I was like, I need to not, the customer cannot be the central point in my life that day.
Yeah.
So that always bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me jump into, at the time, what do you call it? Genomics had just started, next gen sequencing and stuff. And they were like, hey, do you know computers and biology? And I was like, yeah. So all of a sudden I was supposed to take all this like data that was like 50 gigs of data. So this thing could like see a flash of light at the atomic level, and it would do that 500 times, right? And they're like, you know how to process this? I'm like, yep. No. And so we got this huge grant. And so I started the genomic. So I just kind of figured it out. So
what language was that?
So
and how old were you?
I think I was like 22, 23. So then I was getting my master's in healthcare administration and working at UTA. So when I started the genomic courses, so we got this huge insane grant. So when I was there, we started off, it was, I think, $10,000 to do one genome, like one person's genome, the specimen, and it was 6 weeks. By the time I left 4 years later, we were 1,000. So it only cost 1,000, and I think we were a week. So we could sequence the entire thing. And so that's where I learned all the Linux stuff.
Wow.
So I was processing it, taking the data, like images, processing the signals, converting that into like algorithms.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You might as well just be talking Spanish. Are you talking English?
Yeah, right. And then so that time, then like Johns Hopkins was like, they were like, hey, it looks like we were starting bioinformatics program.
Yeah.
Looks like you're doing some of this stuff. Are you interested in coming? So then I did that and published a few papers. No.
Published a few papers? What are you talking about? Published a few papers?
Yeah, I have a few papers.
A few papers about what?
Genomics, glow-in-the-dark plants.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's because you never listen, Brad.
What? Man,
Yeah.
what's that like?
What?
Publishing a paper.
It's good. I published 2 more at IBM.
On what?
Outreach.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I think I did a blog post when I was there, but I didn't actually do it. Did you actually write yours?
No, like I actually so we did a AMA poster. We got approved for that poster. This year we actually published a paper, and then also this year they asked me to become a reviewer for papers.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Dang.
If you had just stuck there, like it would have been awesome. I wouldn't have to do all the admin work.
What do you think of that? What do you think of being so now you're basically doing my job.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna skip ahead. We went from you being an intern to now you're a director. So we're just gonna basically just not an intern, but you were just learning.
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna fast forward all the way ahead, or do you want to keep going with your life story here?
No, I feel like everything else was kind of a blur, and then we got to IBM.
And you got to IBM. When you got hired at IBM to do what?
Data science to roll out BI. So before that, I had experience in Cognos and things like that. And so when you asked, "Hey, can we do this?" I was like, "Yeah, no clue."
What did I ask? Can we do what?
So like rolling out Tableau, all the server side and stuff.
Okay.
No clue. Had never done it.
So let's see. So
That was on the fly. We did a good job.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was just like, this looks like a great approach to security. Let's just do
Wait a
Python.
minute. Are you telling me that you'd never done that before?
No. That was the first time I'd done it.
Wow, nice. That was impressive.
Yeah.
Turned out great.
Yeah.
You want some nuts? So what's it like now being the manager?
I wish I had a bigger team.
Who do you have?
Right now,
Yeah.
I only have Suzanne.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You only have one person?
Yeah. So right now, I'm more of a technical lead. So, there's the people manager side and then so they come to me for, input on, should we go Cognos or Tableau? So if I dug up a bunch of your PowerPoints.
Yeah.
And so that's been great. IBM's doing a few things around AI. Instead of outreaching them, you can talk to an AI about your health problems, because that's what you really want to do when you're sick. You really want to talk to a computer when your arm's falling off. But it makes great marketing.
Yeah. It does. It does. We're doing that too. It
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say no?
We're doing integration with Google. So you'll be able to do, hey, Google. I'd say it slow so she wouldn't wake up. She does it all the time. Order by prescription. That kind of thing. Which will be cool. I don't know how many people actually use it, but it sounds cool.
Have you noticed that every tech company that does really well decides we can go into healthcare? The guys at Bezos, the guy from Chase, when they started that healthcare company, they dissolved it 2 years later, 3 years later.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
So what's happening with IBM? Are they going to do okay in healthcare?
We got a new CEO.
You got a new CEO, so Jenny's not there anymore?
They bought Red Hat.
Yep.
Red Hat is, I think, really powerful in the commercial side of things, and they know how to make money. That's a big one.
Yep.
And then they're splitting up the company.
And yeah.
Two different companies.
What's the split?
So everything mainframe and actually hardware. So their thought was that side was, because they didn't want to cannibalize that side, it was costing them into developing out all the AI stuff and the cloud stuff. So now that they've split that up, we'll see. I just want to go away from where our driving factors are, earnings per share. Because it's almost hey, you need to get to a new weight by the end of this month, and you chop off your arm to get to that weight. So they would sell off divisions that were profitable, and then next month not be able to feed themselves. It was, when Jenny was there, she was all about shares, right? So I think we made a lot of bad moves.
Mm.
We'll edit that one out.
All right. So whenever I was there, though, you made a Bitcoin bot, and I gave you, how much did I give you?
$200.
I gave you $200.
Uh-huh.
So last I saw, Bitcoin was up to like a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm thinking, we're ready to retire, right?
Yeah.
How much do we got?
$400 total. What do you do?
What happened?
So the way that the bot worked was it would convert to all these other coins. But if you remember at that time, there was a lot of coins out there. So, and as the market tanked, a lot of them disappeared. So I was left holding a few of them. So I turned off the bot. So I have a few coins that are still valid that I can trade for something. A few that just disappeared because they're bogus. And then, I still have a few Bitcoin and stuff like that. And so now all of a sudden, it just went nuts. There's no way to predict this stuff. Like, I didn't turn it on. I could have just left it.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a story that somebody would make.
If I just made $1 billion?
If you made like a lot of money, like, oh yeah, man, for like a couple $100.
So the funny thing is I put 1,000 into the other bot that I had that was separate from your bot. And so to get back, because I haven't gone into like Binance, the exchange that API I was using, they're like, oh, what is the last coin you had? What's the coin you had the most value in? Well, the bot was making all the transactions. No clue. And so they're saying like, for me to get back in, I need to send my driver's license, passport, or some state ID. And the last thing I want to do is give my ID to a company that's on the cloud in another country.
So you're saying we don't have anything? Or do we have $400? Or
we have $400, and if it keeps going up, we'll have way more.
All right. I trust you, I guess. Man.
So, what you want to do is bet more now.
I don't know,
give
man.
Me that money.
What? It's worth so much. Isn't now the worst time to buy?
Yeah. So, the problem with this whole crypto, and I always thought this, so I really don't know why it goes up, but it always goes up during the presidential election. So, somebody's moving a lot of money around. That's what I'm thinking. Like, so if it's $500 of Bitcoin on this side, I just need to move it to that other country for $500. But because a lot of money has been moved, the bots are picking up. And unlike a regular market where there's a close, like market closes at the end of the night or end of the day, there's a stop and people think about it, and bots kind of have like triggers. I think this is just like a cascade. Like somebody moved a lot of money around, I think. And this is cascading effect. It's weird that it always happens around an election. I'm not talking about conspiracies. I'm just saying somebody moves a lot of money around. Because all they care about is $500 getting back. But because they took out so much Bitcoin on one side, that's kicking off all the other bots to say, oh, buy more, buy more, buy more. That's triggering other bots. So, and again, there's no stop.
That makes sense.
And so all of this is projection. So I thought that this would be the opposite of like a market. So like where gold plays as the balancing for the stock market, crypto seems to play the same exact path as the market. So I don't see a value here really. Yeah. Unless you like gambling.
So you mentioned the election. That's interesting because like tomorrow is a big day. Isn't tomorrow the inauguration?
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow when like something might happen?
I think
I've had so many people reach out to me telling me I need to go buy water.
There's too much like eye on it.
I hope you're right. That's kind of scary.
I think there's too much eye on it, and I think the people that like didn't pay attention to it or didn't care for it, I think they're no longer there. The transition has happened. Yep. You're seeing people in the Senate and stuff taking a lot of this seriously, and honestly, like we've gotten better at it. Like if we had just paid attention, if we had just treated like, hey, this is a problem. I think you've been to the Capitol.
I haven't been.
You haven't been? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, IBM sent me.
IBM sent you? Yeah, I remember.
You
went there for a project.
Yeah.
I sent you?
Yeah, you sent me. You were like, hey, you want to go with this thing? And I was like, yeah, I'll go. But I mean, there's just so much security. I don't know how this stuff happened.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
My dad called me earlier, my stepdad, and said, "Hey, I had a call from my financial advisor telling me to take my money out because it's all." And I was like, I don't think that sounds right.
So this is the problem with I think when you mix politics and your job, because are you seeing it subjectively, right? So for me, it's I try to. Every time I have an opinion, I always go, am I freaking wrong?
Yeah.
Am I an idiot?
Yeah.
And I look at the other argument. Yeah. And when your job requires it, especially in finance, I can have theories about stupid
Yeah.
But when you're the financial advisor,
I know.
Don't give me those kind of political
That was interesting. I was really surprised at that. What percentage of the time do you think you're wrong? It's interesting. I think about that a lot.
A lot.
You think more than half?
I think I feel like I've gotten, so as I've aged, right, I think that's changing just because of just life lessons and you just live. Oh, that stove is red. Don't touch it. It's probably going to be hot. That kind of stuff. But I think I'm wrong, but I want you to, I want you to tell me why I'm wrong. So sometimes I come off when I have discussions about religion or discussions about very specific political things or even cognos tableau, right?
Yeah.
I want, I think I'm wrong, but prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And I will, but I'm going to hold my point. I want to play devil's advocate, but I want you to, tell me I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm not right.
Yeah.
But that means if you can't prove it to me, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I had an interesting experience with that. So when I went to the museum as a kid, it was interesting because I remember I don't remember exactly what, but I remember being impressed by how dumb everybody used to be. Oh, they used to do such and such. Oh, we were so dumb. They used to treat medical stuff this stupid way, by hammering your head or whatever, really
leeches
stupid, really terrible, stupid things. And I remember learning about those things in school and thinking oh man, what a bunch of idiots. But then when you go back as an adult and you see things like Pluto's not a planet and all these things that you grew up learning, and now they're thinking oh, look at all these idiots. Oh man, you know what that makes me realize is everything I know is wrong. Everything that I've been taught and everything that I know is not necessarily wrong. It's just perspective. It was just taught to me by a person. And I also think that with politics, because when we think about, okay, let's think about this. So how do you think Donald Trump will be taught to kids 40 years from now? Will he be taught in a positive way or in a negative way? Because it won't be middle of the road. It will be extremely negative or extremely positive. So in 40 years, do you think it'll be extremely negative or extremely positive?
Depends on where we're at as a country, right? So I've talked to, the problem is I've always tried to, my friends and people and, I've tried to talk to different people. Again, I think I'm always wrong. So I feel like I'm independent, but that leans liberal, right?
Yep.
Because liberals and certain things are moving forward, and so conservative just by the name,
yep.
Conservative. And so I've talked to people through college and things like that on policy, and before I used to get proper input taxation or policy conversations. Now it's become not a policy conversation. It's become
a personal.
It's become all about Trump, and I think that's fundamentally why I don't like politics anymore.
Right.
We're not, and when you talk to the people, they're saying the same thing.
Right.
Money in politics.
Right.
But it's hilarious how, one side sees money in politics and the other sees money in politics, and then but they see the same problem.
Yep.
So the the population GDP average is not going up, salary's not going up. What's happening? But the way that approach both sides, they're seeing it, it's just hilarious that if we just looked at the problem and the policies, I think we'd have a different conversation instead of you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, because we're literally saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. But I am, as somebody that's lived overseas and that's been a minority overseas, 10%, you know, I will say that it's really scary to kind of, what do you call it? So when a politician isn't doing their job, they blame a group, right? Yep. So that's always scary, right? Like, and so when you get into that mindset, so it's almost like being a manager, and you're not doing your job as a manager, and you blame like, it's development's fault, or like you know whatever, and it's like that's not how you lead. You lead, everything's your fault. Right. You're the one like at the top, and you honestly, if you want success, to me, I feel like you want everybody like solving a problem. So this is why I think, you know, give everyone equal rights. Just go and solve life problems like cancer. We have bigger problems to deal with. Right. So.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you said. And that's what's frustrating is because people can't have conversations without it turning personal. And it's frustrating because I try every chance I get to hear people out and not disagree with them unless they're attacking on a personal note. It's like, man, like, you know, can you just like not do that part?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you want to talk to me about why this is great and this is great. Okay. Like maybe I disagree, you know, about whatever, how we should be handling things in China or healthcare, blah, blah, blah. But once you say that like someone's evil or whatever, it's like, come on, man, they're not evil. They just have different values than you.
You grow up different. You saw things different. Yeah. Like, so, you know, I
hate Beto.
You know, so for example, like, you know, when we talk about online security and stuff, I'm like, this you know, Apple is more secure. You're like, I don't care about that. Yeah. But that's because if you're a minority, rules can change. A new party can come in. All of a sudden, the thing that was like okay is not okay, right? So things like that really, I think, impact like how certain people see certain things, right? Mm-hmm. And so even if we're guys on the internet, so girls go through a completely different set of like rules and I think security becomes a priority for them, right? So that's why I'm saying like really I'm always trying to figure out why somebody thinks the way they do. Mm-hmm. But politics has turned into, you know, that friend that always like jokes with like they always make fun of you at the end of the day, like they always throw something negative about you. That's what politics has become. It's not their jokes aren't something that's clever. It's pointing out a flaw and making fun of it, and that's kind of what politics has become. And I've actually detoxed a lot.
I know. I'm excited for it to be over. Hopefully tomorrow it goes okay without a hitch, and we can just be moved past it one way or another. But I don't know. Let's see what else we got. You got married. We talked about that. Let's go talk about it again. So you got married when? When did you get married?
Good point. January 25th, last year.
So you were how old?
I was 35.
You were 35, and how long had y'all dated?
10 years.
You started dating when you were 25, dated for 10 years.
Wow.
Did you live together?
So I was at UTA in Arlington, and then she was in Austin. So we're different religion. So that was fun. So her parents, like, we're family friends, but our family is a different religion.
What's your religion?
My parents are Hindu.
And what's she?
She's Muslim. But neither of us practice.
Neither of you care?
None of us care. So her parents only cared because of how it might look to society. A society that's overseas that has no impact on my life. And like, are these people giving me something? Like, why do I care about their opinions?
Wow.
So that was a big issue. You know, they didn't show up to the wedding. My parents were like, yeah, we don't want to like, make it seem like it's one-sided for her. They didn't come to the wedding, but it was good.
Your parents didn't go to the wedding either?
No, out of respect to like not to like have one side and her feel like. So my parents didn't want to go. I just think they didn't want to pay for the flight.
Where was it?
It's in Hawaii.
Hell yeah! You got married in Hawaii?
So check this out, right? So it was just I think this is the best wedding ever because it was just 25 to 30 people of my closest friends and her friends.
Yeah.
First day we get there, you know, like we all get settled, get drunk, and then like the next day was whale watching. So because during January, like all the humpback whales are there, they're mating or whatever, and that was awesome. So we rented a boat, whale watch, opened up the bar, so it was an open bar. So that was awesome. And then the next day was the wedding. We rented a bus from the venue, so like a party bus.
Dang, that's amazing.
And then like we got there, so it was a sunset and whatever. It was in Maui. It was great. And then we drove back. Her sister threw up all over the bus.
Oh.
So I had some friends that like really came in and like helped out. And so next day I'm going to park the like rental.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, what is your name?" I was like, "Oh, like Wazia, my wife's name." And they're like, "Oh, you guys had to say there was a guy without pants because he took off his pants to like pick up the bus."
What? What?
Because like her sister threw up, and then that made other people throw up. So like one of my groomsmen like took off his pants and his jacket, and he like scooped it up and paid off the driver. It was a great time.
I feel like you skipped over some of the best parts of that story.
So obviously, like we had an open bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the way back on the bus,
yeah,
her sister like puked on the bus.
Yeah.
And then it made other people puke on the bus.
How many other people?
Like, it was like 2 other people.
Oh my god.
But my groomsmen like took off their jackets and shirts because and then they like scooped it all up.
Oh my god.
And they paid off the bus driver. And so the next day, like the front desk was like, "Oh, you're that crazy party."
That sounds disgusting but fun.
Yeah, there's no parents. There's no like relatives. It was just you and your friends getting just drunk in Hawaii. It was.
What'd you drink?
Everything and all the things. I think mostly tequila and vodka. But there's sun, right? Like, so when there's a sun on the beach, you're not as drunk. You just keep going for a while. And,
yeah. Damn. Was it all inclusive?
No.
No? You must have spent a fortune.
I did. It was all out of my pocket. It's okay. Somebody gave me a raise at IBM.
Was it right before I left?
It was. No, it's been a minute, right?
I don't remember.
You left in 2018?
Yep.
And this is 2019. Keith was running the place. So Keith was running more of the client side of things, and I was running the technical side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. Like I think this is the best. This is the way you should have a wedding. All your friends.
Yeah.
In Hawaii.
So was that the honeymoon too?
Yeah. So literally the week we're coming back is when COVID hit. Like we're coming back, and that's when they're starting to shut down stuff. And
Are you serious?
Yeah. So like we had people with like Chinese passports with masks already, and we're like, "Should I get on this the flight?"
Wow. Wow, you're really recent. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And now she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for her to get pregnant?
So we thought it was going to take a while, but it literally happened the first try. So she calls it a continual.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of babies. There's going to be a big boom.
Yeah.
I thought we were a little bit worried that we were going to be part of that, but it didn't happen.
So I wasn't planning on it, but a friend of mine was like, it takes time and blah blah. We're both biologists, so that's probably why. She like timed it and here's these strips or whatever, and it's like you have 10 minutes. Now we need 10 seconds, but whatever.
What is it about IT guys, man? So that's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, so now that you're married, how do you handle your finances with your wife?
So we have the same philosophy on finance, so that's kind of nice. but she kind of just so she has her own account. I have my own account.
Yeah. So do y'all have separate accounts?
We do, but I manage both of them together using You Need a Budget. Have you heard of it?
You Need a Budget?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it's the only thing that's worked for me. I tried Mint, tried all these other services. That is probably the only thing that I have online that I'm like, oh man, everyone knows what I'm doing. Like, the company knows what I'm doing. But it's basically every dollar should be tied to something, right? And you can't budget. So normal budgeting is, I want to put $100 towards food. You don't get paid $100 at the beginning of the month, so you can't budget for that. It's only money that you have. If you have leftover money, you should do something with it. So it also really helps with planning for. So if you have extra money left over, you say, hey, this is $100 towards vacations and things like that. And so you have quotas that you can set, and if you hit 1,000, whatever, that money can go towards something else. So things like, I've always put like $300 towards a house every month. Yep. Something is gonna break. My AC unit's like 20 years old. Yep. Something is gonna go.
Yep.
So stuff like that.
Yep.
That's probably been the best one I've found.
Mm-hmm.
I know where every penny is, and I've used Mint, and Mint's garbage. Like, because you also have to so it will tell you like, hey, here's a category you selected, but you actually have to go through.
Yep.
This is how I know I'm a DoorDash whore.
Alexa works for DoorDash. Alex, what do you do for DoorDash? She's IT something for them. That's funny.
My service charge I think is removed because of this has already been locked, so don't waste your time. But you've been so even with like
I use Mint, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually have to pay for this service. It's like $3 or something like that a month.
Yeah.
But this one's way better.
Okay.
I mean, DoorDash is. So you've been like at IBM where like the full day is just meetings, and then the rest of the time is like having to deal with like the team, some guy telling you how he's gonna set up a server. I mean, whatever. Not knowing that.
That was today. Yeah.
And so, but IBM just like loves meetings, and when you're working from home, your wife's probably I'm just gonna DoorDash it, Like,
I've never used it.
Really?
I've never.
So if you have the Sapphire Reserve card, that was another thing.
I know, your Sapphire Reserve, man. You're a Sapphire Reserve salesman. You might as well get commission for them.
Yeah, right. So I just want my friends to have the good stuff that I have, right? Like, I put the wedding on there, and I got the brand new iPhone for free.
Nice.
$1,500 one. Like,
look at you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And also DoorDash, like no service charge. No
service charge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? We got travel. So we got you in Hawaii. What else have you got? Have you traveled during COVID?
I have not. So my friend so one of my friends that was my groomsman bought a house in Hawaii. So we were talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I bought it." It was only $170,000 on the Big Island.
What? Oh, the Big Island. I know. I love the Big Island though. That's amazing. That's beautiful. So we're actually going to Vegas in 2 weeks.
You love Vegas.
I do. So me, Misplaced, who just showed up, Line Piece Lex, and Aaron, and I don't know who else is here, are all going to, and maybe Chevetto. And basically everybody who's here, we're all going to Vegas.
I feel like I wasn't invited.
Let's go. You're invited right now, dude.
What is this? Yeah.
Super Bowl. We're going for the Super Bowl. Not for the Super Bowl, but it's during the Super Bowl, so we might as well watch it while we're there.
I'll also be vaccinated by then. Should be good.
Oh, shoot. I was going to do that.
I got my first shot.
Is Fancy Pants going to Vegas too? Interesting. I didn't know that. Look at this, man. We're just going to Vegas, and we're all just going to meet up there.
Hey, Regina went to Vegas, and she's fine.
I'm gonna be more than fine. We're gonna have a blast.
No, I'm saying like COVID-wise. Like,
I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
I'll probably get it though. No, actually, I've actually traveled a decent amount. I've traveled, been to Colorado. I'm taking a lot of road trips. But the Colorado one, we flew to Colorado, bought a Tesla, and drove home. That was fun.
Are you gonna get a Tesla? You gonna get an EV?
Maybe.
We'll put in some money for the Cybertruck.
Someday. Yeah, you did? So did Aaron. Aaron put down his money.
Yeah, but I hear like their quality isn't that great, so we'll see. Aaron, you let me know how it goes.
Yeah. But no, my friend Chris got the car, and we drove it home. It was amazing. I loved it.
Huh.
So the travel was great. I'm hoping that Vegas isn't going to be bad, but we'll see.
In what way?
In a COVID way. I'm hoping that like stuff will be open.
So COVID is definitely determined by temperature. Like as like temperature drops, like everyone goes inside the house and turns on their heater and stuff like that. But are you afraid that like not enough people? Because in Vegas, it's always hot, right?
I'm not afraid of anything. I just hope stuff is open. So if we go to sit down at the blackjack table, we can all like sit down together and play.
Yeah, I mean, Regina did that, so I think it should be fine.
I hope so.
The only time I think Vegas would actually be closed is not enough people are showing up. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. Like, I don't think we're that strict.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, we're going for 2 weeks. We're going to do...
2 weeks?
No. We're going in 2 weeks.
Oh, I was like, I don't think I could do 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, this coming up weekend, Aaron and I are going to the Twitch house in Greenville, building the website. We're going to build a bunch of stuff. And then we have a weekend off, and then we fly out. Aaron and I fly out together Friday morning. And Lex is going to be there, and a bunch of other people from the community are going to be there.
How much did you pay for the... Like $10?
Not much. It wasn't 10. I was points. I used points. Yeah. Plus I have companion pass.
Yeah. Oh, for Southwest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So everything is from here to like Hawaii was like $300. So how much was yours?
Hawaii?
No, like from
to Vegas. I don't remember. I used points. It wasn't much. It was like less than $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. And Misplaced just went for a couple months ago, and it was fine.
You need to get a GoPro. And put it on your like backpack.
I know, right?
So you just like walk around in it. Slice and dice.
Yeah. We probably won't do that because we want to have privacy.
You don't have to have it on all the time.
I know, but
you have control over this.
We're gonna. There's a video game studio. So there's a guy there who owns. It's called Press Start Gaming in Vegas, and it's like a
Konami.
Huh? Yeah, it's like a gaming studio. So we're gonna go there and play there and stream from there and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And then maybe I'll learn how to do mobile streaming, and I can do a little bit of a mobile stream. But I don't know. Who cares?
There's a lot of like services and apps now. Though. Do you have the 5G phone where you just like?
Oh, I'm sure we can do it. I think Twitch just has it built in. I think it's just nothing. I just press the button.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to because it's kind of fun just to go and have fun. Because most people who are going have not been. Like Aaron has never been before. There's a few people who have never been.
I've been very disappointed by Vegas. I found New Orleans.
It depends on who you go with and what you're looking for. So,
but maybe
we'll have fun. I promise that.
No, like I had fun, but I guess like it never lived up to like the Vegas. This Vegas that
was it kind of like Swingers Vegas. Have you seen the movie Swingers? Come on, man.
None of you have.
God damn it. You people, watch Swingers!
We should have a movie night. That's what we should do.
We are. We're gonna
have a movie.
We are. Lex and I tried it. We experimented with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Have you seen it?
No.
You're a loser, man. Why are you on this show? How did you get on this show?
Another loser needed a little bit less loser friend, and that's how I ended up here. Actually, Jesus wanted me here.
All right, so movies though. What movies have you seen that are good?
Movies, but I will tell you a TV show that I've seen.
TV show. What you got?
I've been watching The Expanse, and that's really good. The sci-fi on
The Expanse. What is that on?
Alright, so it used to be on Sci-Fi, but now Amazon picked it up, and that's really, really good. It's deep, like I think so. Sci-fi to me is always it's always telling a what do you call it? Gulliver's Travels kind of like like our society kind of like
that's cool.
And so I really love the way that like they've done The Expanse, but I'm really excited about the Three Body Problem that they're probably going to release on Amazon. Movie wise, I've been watching so much, like just
you've been watching movies
and shows, and like it's just. Haven't you been doing that during COVID?
No.
Like it's just like, but it's just there. Like
no, see, I haven't watched.
Like it's all merges
TV.
and like
I haven't hardly watched any TV. I've been doing this stuff.
So you only know movies from the last, I don't know, Swingers and before.
No, we had Movie Pass. We had Movie Pass for a while. Remember that?
And then you bankrupted it.
I did. Movie Pass was amazing. It was $10 a month for all the movies you could see. So we literally went every day. Why not? Because I could walk to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Not every day. We would go like at least 2 or 3 times a week. And then they raised the price to $15 a month, and they raised it to $20 a month, and they went bankrupt. And then since then, I haven't seen any movies because like I got spoiled.
So I wanted to create a Google Doc and then create a product out of this.
Yep.
Is you put the movies you like and the movies you don't like around your friends, and you can only do one that's a neutral. You have to give it a plus or negative, and you only get 2 or 3 like
that's fine.
Yeah, because most people are like
Yeah.
So we just wanted like a positive or negative, but then
yeah.
you could just see like your friends and like, okay, hey. So we started off with a Google Doc form, and I'm like, how do I make this a product?
Yeah.
So if somebody creates it, it's on like the internet now. It's fine.
All right. Well, The Expanse. We'll check that. What about? Did you watch Mandalorian?
Yeah, I did watch that. Yeah.
Did you still call him Baby Yoda, or do you call him Grogu?
He's Baby Yoda.
He's Baby Yoda, man.
He's Baby Yoda. And they said they had the name for a really long time. It's Baby
They
Yoda.
should have named. That's bad marketing. That is bad marketing.
Yeah.
If they wanted him called something else, they should have done it.
I mean, they didn't have the dolls ready by the time the show. But I will tell you, have you seen how they've done the show?
Mm.
It is one of the most interesting things I've ever seen in like cinema. Like, so what they do is they have a circular dome with all LEDs. It's like a screen.
Yeah.
And on there, they represent like, so they use a game engine, Unreal Engine, to throw like stuff.
That's how really.
Yeah. So they shoot it because like if you shoot it on a black on a green screen.
Yep.
Like his reflection will show green, and you have to like it's process intensive. Yeah. So what they've done is like they'll put this table here, they'll project to your background of this like place, and because it's showing the light and everything, like, and so they can programmatically change any background element really quickly, and so that's how they were able to turn around the episode so fast.
Wow!
So you need to see like the behind the scenes of the show, like when he's walking, it's only like this much of like plank or whatever, or like when he's in a ship, like, and there's a bunch of other ships, or like he's in like a hangar. It's one of the coolest things, and they use Unreal Engine, and that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in cinema because they can adjust lighting and they can adjust whatever, and they're just shooting. And I'm like, oh, and then the other really cool thing is they can like set it with the camera, so as the camera moves, the image moves behind.
Damn.
So then, like, it never looks like. So it looks like a real, like.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you see some of the shots.
Way better than a green screen.
Yeah. So you see like some of the shots that you've seen on the show, and then you see it like how they did it behind the scenes, and you're like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
Yeah, that is amazing.
I just need that as my video game console.
Yeah. Lex, I think having Jon Favreau on the show is a great idea, but I would be embarrassed to do so since you haven't seen Swingers.
Sorry, it doesn't have. I'm sorry, it doesn't have enough. What do you call it? 3D.
No, but Jon Favreau is the director.
Yeah, no, yeah. He actually came. He's the one that pushed for that tech.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's so good.
And he did Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, he started the MCU.
He did?
I mean, with Iron Man, he did Iron Man. If Iron Man didn't succeed, there would be no MCU. But for me, like, have you been watching any of the new stuff? Like on the
what new stuff?
What do you call it? WandaVision and stuff. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I'm kind of burnt out.
Yeah, a little bit too much. Like I was excited. Okay, I thought Avengers Endgame, when he snapped his fingers, was the perfect ending. and I was so disappointed in the next one because I was like, you chickened out, man. You chickened out.
Oh, you mean like killing all the heroes?
Yes! It's so cheap. You can't kill everybody and bring them all back. It's cheap. So I hated it. It turned me off.
So I hate. So this is what my friends always say. Like what? So anytime we watch a movie, they're like, "What did you hate, Bob?" And I was like, the thing that I hate is Deus Ex Machina. Like random. Like I don't care if the world isn't built around our reality, but when you set rules.
Yes.
Set those rules.
Yes.
But don't break them because you're just a shitty story writer, at the end of the day, or a screenwriter.
Yep.
Because if you put your characters in peril and they have no way to get out, you've set the rules of the universe. Right. You should be able to get them out.
Right.
And I hate random things that they haven't told you about. Right. That poof.
But wait, there's this thing we've got to tell you about. It's like, well, you could do that.
When they did time travel, I was like, I'm out.
Yep. Exactly.
I hate Deus Ex Machina. So if you ever, that was the good thing about, I think Game of Thrones for me, is if the character season 7 was bad, season 8 was bad with the last 2 seasons. But if a character did something dumb, even if they were a high paid actor, they paid for it. The minute I lost interest in any of the show is when, what's his name? The guy that good looking guy, he runs after. Or he charges a dragon, and he lives, and I'm like, I'm done.
I've never seen it.
What?
No, so tell me. So sell me on the show. Tell me why I should watch. Should I watch it first of all?
I didn't care until the 3rd or 4th. So any show I'll give three episodes, right?
Yep.
By the 4th episode, I was like, okay, I care about the characters and what's happening. It's actually really good. God, they really... it is... The show that I hated the most before this was probably Lost, because I had spent so much time, and it's like purgatory, and I'm like, God, I hate you so much.
I know, man. That was so disappointing, because I loved it so much. I love Lost. I wrote blogs about it. I studied it and then the ending drove me nuts. I was like, are you kidding me?
I watched Game of Thrones, because when they took a 2-year or 1-year hiatus, I watched all of it, and I only had to wait 6 months. But if I had to wait Lost, I would have probably just flipped my table and just left. But it had that kind of... There's so much Deus Ex Machina on that at the very end. And the reason that I love the show is it had no Deus Ex Machina. You did something dumb as a character. It doesn't matter what your role was. You were going to die. There was no magical dragon that was going to save. And then at the very end, it's none of the main characters were dying. It just became a regular show for me. All the main characters, man, it just ruined it for me. Yeah. It's you have a dragon, and I can start I can charge a dragon with a spear. Yeah. With full body armor and fall into the river and I'll be fine. It was just I already kind of had hints of it right before the last season, and then last season came out and I was like, oh my god. But it is now it has replaced Lost for me though now as the thing I hate the most. All
right, well I'm glad I didn't invest in it because everybody kind of says the same thing.
But if you want to read a really really good in-depth science. It's made by a Chinese author, but the science is solid. 3 Body Problem. If you ever
3 Body Problem?
Yeah, if you want to get it on audiobook, it's so good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I used to do, just look out in the stars and just... Oh, yeah. Yeah. 3 books. It's audiobooks. It's really good. Kind of get... The names kind of throw you off a little bit. Wait, who's that one again? Yeah. Because we just aren't used to, those sounds. And... The science is solid, and I think, if you ever get a chance, it's one of the best books. Yeah.
How many shots have you had?
2.
Is that no? We've had more than 2. How do you handle chores at home? Who does the chores?
I think it's been we moved in 3 years ago now. It's been interesting at first. You have your expectations of what you like doing things.
Yeah.
She's always. I'm a very routine person. I think I like organization and routine. and she's very much like, when I'm hungry, I'll eat, or like, there needs to be outside triggers that like.
Yep.
And so we had a lot of, conversations, and she is one of those people that likes to clean as she goes, where I'm like, I'm going to like, this is my mess. I'm not thinking about this because I'm trying to solve a bigger problem right now.
Yeah.
And I will, at the end of the week, get to it. I don't think I'm messy, or just the way we clean and stuff like that. But we've divided and conquered. Like, just sooner or later, if you just talk through it.
Do you do the dishes?
I do the dishes when it needs to be done.
Do you mow?
I don't actually. Our HOA covers it, front and back, and the bushes. Every week.
You are such a white guy.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh, man. Wait, so do you mow the lawn?
Well, no.
So I wanted a small backyard because I was I had to do it at my parents' place when I was younger. I was like, I hate this. And then we move in, and I thought they only covered the front, the HOA, but they also covered the back. And I was
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the bushes, and I was like, oh my god, this saves me so much time in my day finding somebody, scheduling them to come out. We
have a mower, and I occasionally will use it or make the kids use it, but we kind of split it up. It's like once a month I'll do it, once a month I make the kids do it, once a month I pay somebody to do it. But it's hard to find people who are willing to do it like once a month. They wanted to be on contract. My yard is tiny.
Yeah.
The problem is they want to come out here and charge me $40 a week to do nothing. And I'm like, dude, if I'm going to pay you $40 a week, pick up some leaves. Like, do something besides mow. And they don't want to. So I'm like, well, I'll do it myself then.
So it's a hilarious story. So I guess my mom... So my dad's like the academic, right? My dad's the academic, doesn't know how to negotiate. My mom, she knows how to negotiate. She's been in the third world country and knows how to negotiate for dresses and stuff. It's always been hilarious. When we the lawnmower guy, they're like, all right, well, I'll do this for, this is years ago, and she'd be like, yeah, I'll do this for 30, and my mom was like, 20, and she's like, I only have 20, or no, she would be like, oh, hey, I can only do this for 18. I only have $18. and the guy would be like, fine. And my mom would be like, oh, can you break this 20? And the guy's like,
oh, no. Oh, man. So you don't mow. What chores do you hate to do?
What chores do I hate? I hate medial I hate tasks that's repetitive over and over again. So I spend a lot of time figuring out how not to do it over and over again.
Yeah. Me too.
That's why I'm having kids. That was one solution.
Yeah, right. That's going to be a lot of chores. I hate plumbing, man.
What are you doing plumbing wise?
If anything. Gracie has this. So, I've been okay, you know what? I'll do the dishes and I'll, whatever. If there's things that, so basically we just talk about it. We're like, what do you hate to do? And come to find out, she hates to do some things and I don't mind doing them. And there's some things that I hate to do that she was like, okay, cool, let's do that. But she actually enjoys plumbing. So anytime there's any kind of an issue with a clogged sink or a stopped up this or stopped up that, I'm thank goodness she can handle, because that's stuff I hate, dude. I think one reason is I'm kind of tall. So getting underneath there, crawling and I'm always awkward. And she's so low to the ground. For her, it's just she's walking under there. So
the one task that the wife does only because she's I can't. She needs a clean a workspace in the kitchen, and she can't have dirty dishes and whatever. And she will do the dishes, but when she runs out of excuses, initially it was, hey, why haven't you soaked the the cereal bowl or whatever?
Yeah.
So, but she hates doing it so much, she'll just make up other things to complain at me for while she's doing them. So anytime she complains at me while she's like doing it, it's not really me. It's her like just having to be upset at the fact that she's doing dishes. I don't mind doing dishes, but like it's just hilarious. She'll be like, "Remember that one time you did that one thing?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Well, you wrote one question on the board, and it was, "What have I been doing?"
Yeah.
So let's see. Since I left. Let's see. Once I left. I left IBM in 2000. What was that? 18.
Yeah.
So left in 2018.
By the way, that was interesting.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
What happened after I left?
So Guy left with you?
He got left with me, yeah.
Yeah, and then he decided not to leave, and then decided finally to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You guys both told me at the same day that you guys are both leaving, and I was like, "Oh, my director and my manager's leaving. Great, thanks, guys. Thanks for leaving." I was like, I mean, I got why you wanted to leave. I don't blame anybody, but it was just like, no leadership.
Yeah.
We had to kind of figure it out, but that's all. I had to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I went back to Omnisys, and that was interesting because when I left, I was reporting directly to the CEO, and I was doing those kind of tasks. So it was like
Tableau.
No, it was like not Tableau. It was meetings and the type of things you would expect a person who reports. It was not work. It was not real work. You know what I mean? You know what it was. It wasn't the fun stuff.
Yeah. Weren't even close to the fun stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't the fun stuff. It was too much of that. Well, then when I went back, now the guy that the manager that I report to, he's now the VP, was my peer. He was the guy who the job that he's doing now used to be my job. And now, and then when he was hired, I didn't interview him, but I might as well have. I mean, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, we were peers. Now he's my manager. I love it. It's great because I'm one level beneath where I used to be, but everything else is the same. So it's great because like now I can actually do real, meaningful, fun work. So it's not like I drive less value. I drive more value because I'm actually doing real work and not sitting in meetings.
That is why I was upset at you for leaving.
Yeah.
Because I was actually doing meaningful, actual work. Do you know it? Yep. Got this, Brad. I'll have it to you by tomorrow. Versus now it's, playing that politics of like, I don't know if we have enough resources and blah, 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 and writing an email about, man, like, can you just come back and just everything be the same and then you just take that role again?
Maybe, someday. Yeah, who knows?
Why did you leave Omnisys in the first place besides the new team?
Oh, well, the reason I left in the first place, why did I leave the first time?
Mm-hmm.
So I started there it was a part-time job when I was in school. It wasn't
high school or college?
College. It wasn't my dream
intern job. Or like just applied?
Just applied.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did a job. All my other friends were working at college. They were doing college jobs, all right, whatever, making, campus jobs. Those paid less, and I wanted more. So I remember applying for looking in the paper, and I remember my friends telling me, "Why are you looking in the paper? You can't get those." And I was like, "Well, why not?"
I'm tall enough.
I got the job. It was a part-time job, but then it ended up turning into more. And my wife and Gracie ended up working there for a bit, and then they ended up after I graduated my MBA, they asked me if I wanted to be a software developer. And it came with a decent raise. That means like, oh, okay, like you're gonna give me a decent job. I don't have to interview.
That's awesome. What year is this?
That was in 2001. Oh, I graduated in 2004. So the plan, I was an intern for the Mavericks. My plan was to go try to work for the Mavericks and do something, but I would have had to start from the bottom. And here I was able to start. I was a senior software. They offered me a senior software developer with no experience. Mm-hmm. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So that was not on purpose. And then I ended up there for 16 years, and it turned into a great thing. We did a lot of things, but I was just ready to do something else. I didn't know what.
Yeah.
So I just quit with no plan.
So do you feel like, so I've switched. So I was in academia, went through a few companies, and I've learned a lot of what not to do and what to do. So when you were at IBM, I was like, yeah, this is the way we should do certain things, right? Like, do you think going back to Omnisys, only seeing IBM, do you think it limits you, or you're just like, okay, cool, Omnisys is a job, so I have all the tools to do my job? Because sometimes, like, I feel like even though you might have the skill sets to do a lot, the job doesn't allow for, so you gotta have that cross section. Do you think you're at a comfortable place with Omnisys in terms of new innovation and like, because a lot of companies go through this, like you just have too many internal people and, you know, they've just done certain things in a certain way. You know, like, do you think that you're missing out by not going somewhere else and learning a lot of these things, or it's not a big deal to you?
I don't know if I can answer that question specifically. It's a little bit hard, but I'll answer a different one.
Okay.
That might get to it.
Okay.
That's kind of like, there's a lot there. Well, to be fair, I don't know how to answer that. I'm going to answer my own. I would say there's things the things that I liked about IBM were, I really, really loved a lot of things about that. I loved the pay was great. The pay was better. The pay was really good. Mm-hmm. I took a big cut to go back. It's okay. I'm not complaining, but the pay was awesome. The healthcare was cheaper. Like, all of those things are great. Like, the relationships you're able to build and the people that you're able to meet are amazing. So, like, you should take full advantage of that. Like, you should, like, go out and meet and, like, present everywhere. You already do it, but that's like, there's no way I would have ever presented at Tableau. I tried to present at Tableau conference when I was at Omnisys. I've tried multiple times. I never got accepted. But at IBM, somehow they put me in the giant stadium in front of 1,000 people. Nah. Because IBM.
By the way, your best response when somebody asks you a question, you just did.
What?
Somebody asked you a very technical question on why you're like, you just did, okay? But that guy was kind of annoying. He asked like a million questions. Do you remember that guy?
I remember that guy.
Yeah. And like at some point you just got frustrated and you were just like, it just worked.
That presentation's on YouTube.
I'm gonna go back to that. Like, you were just like, it just did.
I don't remember that. I remember it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember that specific thing. But yeah, like, those are the things. Like, IBM is amazing. And whenever you always stay in the nicest place. But like, the thing is, like,
so I think you were in a like weird time at IBM, like, especially in that division. So IBM is so massive, I feel like, that there's like, I felt like we created a small startup inside of that, even inside of Hightower.
Yep.
But like, nobody knew what to do. And remember, Ron was like, just solve my life problems. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
And so it was always really nice to like have you on the same, like, I would come to you and be like, hey, we need this. And you would just be like, yeah, we need this. And just, you know, and I think a lot of like RAs happened around us and stuff like that, but our internal group was really a startup. Right. We were doing things like I don't think a lot of teams were doing. I think that was but I think you left at a really good time. Like, I think they were narrowing in, and like a lot of the policies and stuff like that are very rigid now. Like, you know, I can get away with that and stuff like that.
Well, those are some of the things I liked about IBM. I think there's, you know, even if you can't get the spending and you can't get to this and you can't get to that, you still, there's no doubt that you'll be able to live. Okay, here's an example. I will have, by the time it's all said and done, I will have worked for Omnisys for, you know, whatever, 20 years or whatever it is. I'm almost over 20 years now. But if I ever like want to get something, like if I like want to decide I want to reach out to John Favreau and have him on the show, like, I was vice president of IBM. Like, that's my end, because that's the thing. Nobody gives it about anything else. No. But it's like that thing, like, it gives you immediate credibility, and you have it. And like, you should like, you know, so that's amazing. So I love that I was there and I got that, and I love that I have that if I need it. But for me, it's like, that part is cool. But what I like more, and like what I like more with the smaller company, is just being able to be involved in a lot of different things.
So I think this is one of the best things, like, I think about being a smaller firm.
Yeah.
So like, Yeah, I think we were in this weird hot. They were dumping so much money into IBM and stuff like that, like in Watson, that we got away with a lot of resources and stuff like that. But every time I've been in a firm that doesn't have the credibility, I feel like outside of work, I'm way more creative.
Right.
Where at IBM, in bigger firms, that even when I'm job searching, that would just become my life, and I wouldn't have other things. And
yeah,
I don't want to be a person of
who just does that.
Yeah, like I think that just it puts you in a small group of people and like skill set, and if RAs happen, you're gonna be like fine, but that's not how that's not how I want to like do it. Like I'd rather come home and like work on my own,
do your own thing.
Like, and it might fail, but hey, at the end of the day, it's a lot more fun. You learned a lot more, right? Like, and something that you learned here that failed 6 years later could just turn into something that's golden, right? Like, but you don't know that, and so sometimes I think while I'm at IBM and I have this like, I have the name, I have the salary. Like, what am I giving up, right? Like, and so it's nice to know that you can do that here.
Right. Well, yeah. So I left and I went to Omnisys, and it's great. I love it. So it's awesome working for somebody who used to be your peer, because then they trust you, and there's no longer a thing of like.
So do you have a team under you now?
I do.
Do you still have the same three?
It's no, it's different people. So I have a Salesforce administrator, and I have a business intelligence analyst, and then I have a contractor who's a developer who's reporting to me, but it's not really, that's a short-term thing. That's it. So some of the people might be on the show, but I don't know.
So it's hilarious, like about IBM and like just getting into those rooms and blah blah. So after Peter moved on and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So mark it now.
All right. We're going to cut this night.
So what's hilarious is Peter, like when Peter was here showing off the new Tableau, and like we met him up for, and then afterwards, like we went out drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the strip club.
You went to a strip club with Peter?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That sounds amazing. You have to tell me about that later. Let's see. Oh, it's what is it? Marker. See, I haven't done this before, but I want to type it out to make sure. I have this button that does it, but let's just do it just to make sure. Okay, cool. It successfully added. But then if I do this, if I do mark, it doesn't do that. So I don't know if it actually did it or not. We'll have to see. Anyway, that's amazing. I wish you would have told me.
You left. You left early that night. And so at that point,
I was playing volleyball.
Yeah, with Guy and Dan, and I was like I hung out with Peter and Nathan. What is his name? Yeah. So we went out to this speakeasy where you needed a code to get in, and so I got him in, and we partied for a really long time, and then it was 2 or 3 in the morning. And we're like, hey, you wanna go? So it was just me and Peter. And so, and then I showed up to work the next day, and I was like, "So, Brad."
Damn, that's amazing. Oh man. Well, anyways, so back at Omnisys.
Oh, so sorry.
Let's go.
The other really thing is, so they started doing these programs to help out IBM, their client. So being IBM and being one of their biggest client, they gave us $5,000 worth of resources to solve our life problems. That's stuff you don't
Who
get.
Did?
Tableau did.
What?
Yeah, so Tableau puts consultants and people that can help us solve our life problems. So it's great. Yeah. So this is to your point, right? Where being
that part's nice.
You learn a lot.
You do. Okay, so back in Omnisys, life is pretty good. Working for my guy who used to be my peer. And basically, I was working for you.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, fine, it'd be great. Like, how great is it that you don't have to, you would be like, yeah, this is what I need to do, but okay, and you trust me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to, take advantage of you. It's just a nice relationship. So that's kind of what it's like. But that affords me a lot of, I don't want to call it freedom, but it's not, it's easier than it was. So, you were talking about your office, and you have, one spot that's downstairs and one spot that's upstairs. Well, it's the opposite for me. So I've got one laptop here and then one work thing and literally it's one keyboard and mouse. So this is my work computer here. So I can just take this mouse and go over there. So it's like one keyboard and mouse.
So this is a work one and
this is Tableau. So we go 43 million records. This extract just finished.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm in a meeting or something, like there's some downtime and I want to go over here and do a tweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is separate computer?
Separate computer.
So Synergy?
I use Mouse Without Borders.
I use Synergy.
Yeah.
Synergy's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Keyboard and mouse?
Keyboard and mouse. Yeah.
So before you buy your next keyboard, because that's what everyone does when they first get into the keyboards, I have a few.
Yeah, you have I need one.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I have this one, and it's kind of messed up, and I have this one. This is the one that came with the
MX chair?
I don't know. Whatever this is.
Oh, I hate you so much right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I have a proper keyboard, and I'll give it to you for free.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
So I replace the keys and stuff, so it's white and
wow, that's really cool, man.
Yeah. So they're molded, so yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing. It's just what came with the thing, and I just haven't looked at them.
So I was gonna ask you, what GPU do you have in there? What'd you pay for?
1,200, 13. By the time it was all said and done, it's okay. So let me tell you the story. Let me keep it going. We'll get there.
All right.
So I'm working, and then things are going pretty well. It's not too hard. It's hard, but you know what I mean. That's for some free time. So that allowed me to mess around and do stuff like this, like you're saying. So I ended up streaming Tetris because Tetris 99 comes out. I was like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. So it came out about a year ago. It came out 2019, 2 years ago, or my birthday. And I was just playing. I didn't even know what Twitch was. Then I ended up discovering and playing with other people on here. And discovering, my kids taught me it and showed me that kind of stuff. It's oh, that's cool. So last Christmas, I got that capture card right there. Yeah. And then I went out and bought that laptop right there. Because all I needed to do was just enough to just stream. So this switch hooks up to that laptop, or that hooks up to that, and then I built this whole desk. I built this whole desk last year. And I just started streaming. And, the first streams were over here. And it was not very good. But then, eventually, I just, made it a little bit better, bought some lights, and if you go back and watch them, you can, see it get a lot better. So, that went really well, and actually, we won an award. We got an award-winning streamer. Most innovative.
Most to look like Jesus.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? So that was pretty fun, and then just met a whole lot of really cool people on here, and, and Lex. And Lex she's another award-winning streamer. So I was a guest on her stream, and we were just playing some Tetris together. And she was we just started talking about not Tetris stuff, about this kind of stuff. It's this is pretty fun. We should do this. So I tried to do it on my channel, but then people would come over and they'd be like, when are you going to play Tetris again? I was like, man, I don't want to play Tetris anymore. I want to just do this. So this year, starting January 1st, we decided to launch this channel. So I was going with this laptop, and we had our very first guest on. So Lex and I also got invited to be on a team. So on Twitch, they have teams. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
So we're both of us. We're on a team, and that's pretty amazing. And so now we're on this team, and so our first guest was the leader of the team. And so as we were doing our test stream off that laptop, it was really laggy. And this was on a Wednesday night. It was only 2 weeks ago. And he said, oh man, this is pretty bad. What's the deal? We kind of troubleshot for a while, and I realized it's the computer. Because I was like, yeah, well, maybe it's
how much bandwidth do you have?
Well, it was always at 100%. My computer was never...
No, but how much bandwidth do you have at the house? Up and down?
Bandwidth? As far as... No, that's fine, because I have a really high... It's 500 gig. And it's hardwired.
Okay.
So we figured out it's the computer. So I literally went to Best Buy, bought this at lunch, and then I got it all set up for our stream the very next day. So I went to Best Buy. That was $1,400 a couple weeks ago, and basically it has 8 CPU. I can't remember how many core.
Yeah.
Also 8 cores, 16 gigs of RAM, a gig of hard drive.
Okay.
Separate video driver.
M.2, blah blah blah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. So I just basically took the specs that his name is Nine Lives that gave me, and went and got that, and we got it all set up. So yeah, it's brand new, and same thing with this mic. This mic is brand new too. So this is only episode 4, and now what we're trying to do is just I'm considering it going from Omnisys to IBM. It's I did the Tetris thing in this small little pond, proved we can do it, know how to stream now. now let's like step from Tetris, which is like this tiny little community where you only have like, you know, a few people, to now going into the big lake. So it's gonna be interesting.
So I feel like just like IBM and you know Omnisys, when you go to a bigger pond, you're trying to. I don't know. I always feel like niches is where the riches is.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
It's if you have like a small group of people, like so now I don't like going to big podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still with Joe Rogan just because he's been around forever and I've listened to him forever. Yeah. But going to the bigger like thing, I feel like you lose who you are and what you're trying to do. And at the end of the day, everyone's trying to like you just when you have a special like when you go to the bigger pond, like you're then trying to catch the meme almost right. Like. But I like the smaller podcasts that talk specifically for something, and those people when they try to grow their like user base, like you might want to set up a Patreon. Mm-hmm. I'll give you $1.
Mm-hmm. That you're not the first person to suggest that.
Yeah, that
for things like movie nights and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like beer science, but like, oh yeah, that's fake.
Yeah,
that's BS science.
What? What are you talking about?
Like when we watch movies, we're like, that science is wrong.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We got the content and the ideas, man. That's right. And we got the lights and the computer now, and we got you. Okay, so we got Tableau Cognos sounds boring. Manager life sounds boring. Hobbies. What hobbies you got? I got a lot of hobbies. What you got?
So I have a lot.
How many? You got a lot of hobbies?
So insanely amount. That's my biggest fear of having this like, because even when I had school, I still had hobbies that I enjoyed doing. Yeah. I think that's just going to all get wiped out, and I just don't know how to mentally like.
You got too many hobbies for kids.
Yeah, but that's because. So I always like building something, but I hate supporting it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah, so I love like so for me it would be figuring out how to build a shed.
Yeah.
Like managing that shed after that shed is done is boring to me. Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like so the fact that I'm not learning anything new.
Yeah.
Is going to bother me like constantly. Like if I'm not moving forward and learning something new and I'm stagnant just because I don't have time, I'm just doing my day-to-day job. Like that's going to be hard for me. Like I don't know. So I have a lot of hobbies. So even before a lot of this like COVID stuff happened. So thanks to you and your 2-day work from home, I was already working like at my battle station, like where I worked. Like I already was. That's where I was like working and going to school and stuff like that. So I already had made it comfortable.
Yeah. But
the 2 days work from home made it even better. Like so when we bought the house, I was like, I need a study. And so one of I was being a biologist and things like that. Obviously, I'm into all that. Like building computers, obviously, like me, like built that entire like Tableau nonsense. And like I just showed you like what I did with wires. Reprogrammed feed through like HomeKit, blinds, all that stuff. So that stuff I enjoy a lot. But recently I got into something weird, which is like maybe this is the biology is coming out. I got hydroponics.
Hydroponics?
Yeah.
What's that?
So like so nobody keeps plants alive really well, right? So as a biologist, I know like the chemistry behind keeping plants alive, blah blah blah. Hydroponics is using aquarium water so using aquarium water, so it's like a full cycle where you're not actually fertilizing or introducing anything else. Okay. The whole system works by itself. So you have fish, and the fish poop and whatever that feed into the soil grows stuff, and then it filters the water, and then that goes back in the cycle. So the plants is used as a filtration system. Yeah. And the plants grow.
Yeah.
the fish get clean water, and you have a system that you don't have.
Wow.
So I've been doing this for a little while, a minute. So I've been doing a non-controlled, where I'm still taking the water from the fish and just putting it into like the soil. One day I want to like connect the whole system, but I should not get into this project because I'm going to like.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, but you can grow anything, right?
Wow.
Like grow anything? Like, yeah. This is like what do you call it? The Breaking Bad level of.
Yeah.
I really know this chemistry very well.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, next show from your house.
Yeah. So the beautiful part is like I have this like insane. It's like this magic water that grows anything, right? Because it's like proportionally mixed with like hydrogen, potassium, like carbon. Like all this. Like,
wow. Dang.
You just like have a grow light and that's it. Like, you can grow anything.
Okay. Next up, let's talk about retirement. What are you gonna do for? Have you thought about retirement? When do you want to retire?
I don't think I can retire the way that most people want to retire. Like,
what do you
mean? You were like, like most people want to, become a certain level and then they want to retire out of work. You're the first person that I've heard that does not want to do that. And I feel like I'm not exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe I am now because I was like, oh man, I want to see if I can make it. And I made it to the same kind of level. And I'm like, oh man, there's nothing up higher. Like you go up there, like, oh, this is just another nonsense. And so for me, I would love to have enough resources to do something like this where I'm passionate, it's making me money. Where I wake up and I love what I do at IBM, still like Tableau and data, where half of it is like, oh man, that is not what I'm doing. Yeah. You?
Well, are
you still on your goal of retiring? Like,
well, I changed it. Now it's different. My goal just recently changed. Like I think it changes all the time. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I think what I've decided is that I don't want to retire. I just want to be free to do other things.
Exactly.
So if whatever company I'm working for, whether it's Omnisys or whatever, if they're okay, as long as I'll continue to be their whatever they want me to be. Do you want me to be your VP or your director or your whatever? You want me to be your Tableau developer? Sure, I'll do that. But I'm also going to be...
Just be wary when they make you CEO right before everyone jumps in.
But I'm also going to be free to do my Tableau courses that I teach. And I'm going to host a talk show. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do a bunch of other stuff. And you have to be okay with that. And as long as they are, then I will be fine.
How is your Tableau prep?
Prep? What do you mean?
I'm really good at prep.
I've never used it.
I think we should do a course together.
Yeah.
So you should show me how to do
it. I know what it is. I've seen it demoed and it's awesome, but I don't have a need for it because everything we have is in a SQL Server.
So Tableau did something really interesting. Sorry,
don't be sorry. Yeah.
So Tableau did something that was really interesting on the new version. I don't know what version you guys are on. So remember, everything needs to be a flat table, mostly in Tableau.
Yep.
Or like you just bring in different data sources.
Yep.
Now you can connect all those nicely and it'll create still one data source out of different levels, and that's awesome. So we got a good little presentation just because we're at IBM.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. And I have this insane flow where I did insane calculations, and I would love. I can do a lesson on this, a lesson on this.
You should do it.
Yeah, but I need help. So
we should do it.
As I having this kid and I don't have any time. I show you how to do it. Yeah,
I know. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm hiring people.
Yeah.
So I've hired a video editor. Now we've hired our Discord admin.
Where are you getting people?
On here, I just say, "Hey, I need somebody to do," and then they reach out to me. That's great.
So how have you? So I've done contracting work before. Like it's a hit or miss. Like, you really have to know yourself sometimes.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So what's next? Parents. Are your parents still alive?
Yeah.
How old are they?
One is 70, one is 60.
Are they healthy?
So the older one is, so my dad is pre-diabetic and my mom hypertension. I think there.
That's good enough, man. If all of our parents are alive, cheers.
Yeah.
Woo, we're lucky. We haven't hit that age. I'm worried. It's coming.
So it's weird when you see. So are your parents alive?
Yeah, so I'm saying all of our parents are alive.
No, but like,
yeah,
like, do they have any medical conditions? Or?
Oh, yeah, lots.
So are you the youngest or the eldest? Or like...
No, I'm the old. No, I'm not the oldest. It depends. I have a lot of brothers, but I have a lot of parents.
Huh.
A lot, divorced, and my dad's been married like 5 times. My mom's been married a couple times, and you got a lot of steps, this and all that kind of stuff. So,
but with the same brother, or let's say like the same parent.
So yeah, I mean, I've got every single parent that I have that I can think of. Yeah, every parent I have is alive, which is awesome. But they're all old. And
so what,
not all
like,
old, but my mom's had a stroke. And, we just had her birthday here, and she's 57, I think, 58, so not super old. But when you have, it's been 4 years, since she's had a stroke, and we weren't sure she was gonna wake up. We thought. Is
she functional?
Yeah. She was just here. She was just here for her birthday this weekend. So,
how's her cognitive abilities?
Yeah, she's fine. She can talk and everything, but she can't use her left side of her body, so she's in a wheelchair and that kind of stuff. But yeah, parents. I love my parents, man. My parents are amazing, but I'm a little bit worried about them just because I think about death all the time. I think I'm gonna die all the time. That's one reason why I started this talk show. Actually, it's like why should I worry about it? I mean, why should I have to get a diagnosis of cancer to make me do something that I want to do? I should just do it.
So like society isn't built the way it is if we don't have death.
Right.
Like, why do we get married at 30? Why do we give a shit about like certain things? The only reason it's driven by is death. Society, like, that's stupid to say, but like, it's taxes and like death that drive all of us. But a lot of us are driven, like a lot of our decision making, we don't even think about it day to day, are driven by death. Like, how long am I going to be here? Am I going to I hear from my parents, it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make your second grandson. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, calm down.
Right.
But, like, every decision we actually make in our day-to-day is driven by death. Like, it's in our literature, it's in this podcast, the room I'm in. Right. Like, would we, how, like, they're like, oh, do you care? Like, they're like, oh, that person is poor. If we give them more money, like, they won't do anything with their lives or whatever. Like, the argument against like social, like, I think it's the other way around. I'm like, the minute you tell somebody like they can't die, do you think I give a shit? Like, if I'm 16 and I can't die, I have another 100 years to get my shit together. I'm gonna play my video game right now.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we driven to do what we're doing? It's death. It's not anything related to like monetary or anything related. So when people argue about, oh, we can't like give poor people money or like whatever, like none of that matters. Like people only are worried about death.
Do you do any New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals or plans or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I do.
What do you got? What do you have this year?
This is weird. This year, I actually left it alone. So I never do a specific. So this year, because I'm having a daughter.
Yep.
And so I don't know what's going to happen. I left kind of it vague.
Yep.
This is probably 1 year where I was like, I don't have targets and things like that.
Yep.
Do you?
Yeah, but it's interesting. I talked to Gracie about it and I said, hey, we do it every year. Last year it was to be the year, 2020 was the year of helping. So like I started off with like a goal to like help a certain number of people, and I was going to log it every single day of like all the different ways. I think it was like help 100 people this year. So I like have a log of like all the different ways I help people. I gave up. Like it was too hard. It's too hard to keep up with it.
So I just give a lot of money to a lot of corporate,
so
nonprofits. And
so then this year I said, well, what if we just said We just want to spend more money on other people than we do on ourselves. Can we do that?
How are you tracking it?
I know, that's the problem. And then she said we already do that. So
But then there's time. How do you monetize time? Do you monetize based off salary?
So no, I didn't do it. I would just think I'd just do it off money. And that's the easy. That's measurable. But it's hard. And I was like, well, I don't know. But then she said, I'm not going to make any goals. I don't believe in goals anymore. I said, what do you mean? She said, nah, I don't do goals. I just make plans. I was like, don't make goals, make plans. I wrote that down. I like that. So it's like, instead of doing goals, we're just going to make plans. So then instead it's like, okay, well then that's good. So then instead, I'm just going to plan to do these things. So this talk show is one of them. It's like, we're just going to plan to do every Tuesday and Thursday this thing. And instead we made plans to do every Wednesday is going to be family game night. And every Friday is going to be family movie night. And every Sunday we're going to do church together. So it's like, instead of just like setting goals, we just like, let's make plans. So we're going to give that a shot.
Yeah, let me know how that works.
We'll see.
So, I always, like...
Bye, Lex. We're about to head out too.
So, I was always like, when I didn't have money, I was always like, here's these organizations that I want to give money to. Wikipedia, like, they're all written. Things. And so, like, as I've been, every time I get a raise, and I always give money to them, and all these other places and things like that. So there's you. So by the way, apparently, if you set New Year's resolutions, you're 40% more successful than if you don't. Sorry, I stopped there.
Are either of us intoxicated yet? I don't know. What do you think?
A little bit.
Yeah, let's just. I'd say yeah.
That's not how that was supposed to go. But what do you mean? Like, so
you said 40%. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. So you're 40% more likely to succeed than if you were to set those goals in the middle of the year. So what's interesting to me is the goals of losing weight, and all these things. I don't care. Like, those are my challenges, and those are my. But I'm really interested to see how your thing plays out, because those are plans.
Right. And
so, are you going to be because there's no success, not success? How are you? Do you care? You're a guy with data. Well, you're a guy of putting stuff into bar charts, and
yeah. So here's why I got so excited. So I'll be honest with you, I got really excited. So whenever she told me that, I was like, JC, you're genius. And I got right back, and I came in here and I wrote it down, and it was on the board until I erased it for you. So I literally cleaned this board off today and erased it for you. But it was up there, and it said because I loved it, because one of my philosophies in life is that you can never judge a decision based on the outcome. An example is, I always hate it in sports or in football or whatever, when they say well, that was the wrong decision because it didn't work, that play didn't work, or whatever. Whatever, you shouldn't have gone for it on fourth down because they didn't make it. No, that's not how life works. You cannot judge a decision based on the outcome. And I also believe you cannot judge plans or an outcome or whatever, or not an outcome, but the things that you want to do in your life, you can't judge if it's a success or not, whether or not that specific thing happened. Because we make plans all the freaking time, and they never work out. Just yesterday, Lex and I had plans to do things. It was Sunday. What day is it? I don't even know. Whatever. Just the other day, Lex and I I talked to her. We talk all the time about the show and how we're going to do things. We need you to do these things for the show. Okay, these are the things that I'm going to do for the show today. These are the things that you're going to do. Nothing happened the way we wanted to do. But it ended up all sorts of things. Ended up being a great day. That's just one example of one day. But it happens all the time. How many times have you made plans and they never worked out? So I don't want to set myself up to be this is going to be considered a success if this end goal is met. Instead, I want to say this is already going to be a success because I'm going to follow these 5 steps. And as long as I follow these 5 steps, some kind of good outcome is going to come from it. I don't know what it's going to be. So an example is this show. I don't know. Whether we end up with not getting any viewers or not, who cares? It's going to be documented that we're going to have all these conversations in history, and how cool is that going to be to be able to go back and watch these things 5 years from now? You'll be able to show your daughter, How cool is that?
So I have some philosophical questions for you that like break a lot of this stuff down, right? So if you had the option, would you want to be in the Middle Ages, but you rule everything?
Yep.
Or middle class now?
Now.
Why?
100%.
Why?
There's no better time in history to be alive than now. But you know what, though? There may not be a better time in history to be alive than tomorrow. I think that we're getting better every day.
So, you know what? I've asked this so many times to so many people, and I've gotten so many people that say, forget that. So let's say you live to be, how old are you now? How old are you now?
40.
40?
Yeah.
You live to be 40, but you're the king of this world.
Yeah.
Forget Middle Ages.
Of this world?
Of this world.
Yeah.
You whatever you need.
Yeah.
Or you live to 100, middle.
Wait a minute. Tell that again.
So let's say you live to 40.
Yep.
You have everything and all the things. Let's even 30. Let's say 30.
Yep.
Let's say 30. You are literally anything you've ever wanted in your life.
Yep.
You get. You're the king of this planet. Yep. You live to 30, or do you live to 100, 200 as a middle age, like in America, like
right now?
Yeah.
Right now.
Like
I would choose this.
Why?
Because you don't want to get everything you ever wanted. Because most of the things that we think we want, we don't actually, like, we think we want them, but they're not. It's not what's best for us.
So that, it's funny, it's, as I've got, like, I've been thinking about this conversation, like, this question, and I have changed my opinion, my friends have changed my opinion, like, their opinions and stuff like that. Like, as they're like, oh, I would love to have this because I want to see my kids grow and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people that I see that are very egotistical, that are very much, I want to be top, I don't care who is where. Like, I will always say 30 to like 40 or whatever. So I always usually do like a few years before, after, because when you tell like somebody that's narcissistic or like whatever, that they're about to die right now, they'll be like, no, I don't want to like that. Yeah. Basically, you add a few years, but like, it's funny to see how people think in that question. Because when you talk about leaders and like how they think about certain things, so in a third world country, you might be the top class, right? Because you've held so many people down. You might have an iPhone, but if you get cancer, you're screwed. Versus like here in the middle class, like so to me, like, I'd rather not be this badass like. But it's an insane question that like I like figured out one day, and I was like, I'm gonna ask everybody this question.
I love
see
it.
how they think.
Yeah, I love it. That's good. I think I'm so impressed by our time. I think the fact that we've had such a divisive time, because everybody says, not everybody, but lots of people say it's like, oh, it's so terrible right now, like, oh, da 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 da, like everybody hates each other, blah 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 blah. But it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful. So, I'm a weird historical nut that's like, man, I wonder what it was like when like shit went to hell. Right. And then I'm like, oh, that's filthy. Okay. Right. This is maybe not. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. Right. But and also I've been through genocide. Like I've been through like literally where my house was burned down. And I was rice paddying, watching my house burn down. Oh my gosh. So like, I've gone through this, and it's just like, maybe this is like what you guys have. It's like whatever, like what we have right now. It's like, not so bad. I know. I feel like whenever I was watching, I didn't even know what happened last Wednesday or whenever it was a couple weeks ago. I wasn't aware. I was doing a bit too busy doing my own thing, but I ended up finding it out when the White House was getting stormed or whatever. I found that on Twitch because I was watching a friend of mine on Twitch. And he was watching someone else broadcast it, and like all the. He was broadcasting live? No. It was just somebody. It's fine, but whatever. The coverage that I watched of it was very opinionated, and it was very much like, I can't believe this is happening. This is the worst thing ever. Like, And I became immediately turned off by it. And all I could think was like, get over it. Like, really? Come on. But then 2 days later, I heard the exact same story covered by NPR. And they told the story in a very NPR-ish way of like, who's going to tell you the news? This is what happened. This is why it's important. All of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is and because they were just telling it to me with just the facts.
What if I'm wrong?
Whatever.
That's what
But they still gave me the facts in an unemotional way. And when I get turned off is whenever people like want to tell me that this thing that I'm going through right now, or that we're going through as a country, or that blah, 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 is the worst it's ever been, and how are we going to do it, and da-da-da. I'm like, all I can do is roll my eyes. And think, how self-important are we to think that, like, this little thing that we're going through is the worst? Like, come on, man. Put it worse than that in my eye. Come on.
Dude, people in Congress used to punch each other in the face. They used to shoot. Freaking Jefferson they had a duel.
Yes.
but it's not to the point. But I could also see why this. So I have this rule. I have a 2-day rule, by the way, I'm used. So you know what the rule is. Like,
let's hear it. I like it.
So, and this, with Trump, it's been a few days.
Yeah.
So it used to be 2 days because this thing is happening, let's all get enraged, left and right, blah, 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 and whatever. And a day later, it was solved.
Right.
So a 2-day rule.
Right.
It's like, I used to read the news, it's like, this is the, like, outcome of this event. I didn't get emotionally involved.
Yeah.
But Trump was a little bit longer, blah, 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 like, whatever. But, like, I always had I would never read.
Yeah.
I used to be the guy on the internet that used to read everything and wanted the information as fast as possible. But then I was like, I'm not friggin' gambling on any of this. I'm not betting on stocks on any of this. Why do I give a shit? Like, so, wait, are we allowed to curse?
Yeah.
And so, to me, at the end of the day, what happened?
Nothing.
So to me, at the end of the day, like, I always gave a 2-day, and by the time you would read the story, the outcome would already be done, and you were like, I saved myself an emotional roller coaster there.
Yeah.
So, and it was just funny how it only was 2 days.
Yeah.
Like,
don't you wish more bosses would do that? Like, man, let's come back to me in 2 days, see if this thing that you think is really a problem is still a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Aunt Teresa. I didn't know you were here.
Is she going to Vegas with you guys?
My aunt? I don't think so. She was just here to sneak in there. Oh, man, that was fun. Well, I think we covered just about everything. Is there anything on that board that we didn't cover that you want to cover, or anything you think we missed?
I mean, so what was your retirement? Sorry.
My retirement, it's not going to be it's just going to be just whatever. I'm just going to do this and just do whatever. It's like, yeah, man, I'll do. But we'll see where this goes. Whatever.
Yeah, but
it's just whatever.
I've never met somebody that had such a plan. And then I was like, man,
my plan
guy has his life figured out.
My plan changed.
And then the guy grew out his hair. And
you know how many plans I have? I got plans everywhere, man.
Plans on plans on plans.
I got plans on plans. I got lists on lists. I got plans for all kinds of stuff. I make plans all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're that bad or they're not going to happen, but my plan changes all the time.
That's how it should work, right?
Yeah.
You just figure it out, and
I still think retirement would be really fun. My retirement doesn't mean I'm going to sit back, though. It just means I'm like going to be free to do.
By the way,
stuff.
I thought that's what it meant for the longest time.
No, it's just
because you were like so chilled at IBM. There's so much stuff happening around you. You're like, cool.
Have a great night. We'll see you on Thursday. Mewtwo is going to be our guest. Bablu, thank you for being here.
Oh, this was fun. Let's do it again.